Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Superfeeler podcast. My name is Lori, and I am here to introduce this episode, even though it was recorded a long time ago. So this episode is coming out in early September of 2025, and it was actually recorded in January 1st, actually, of 2025. I had a really weird mental block editing this episode for some reason. I'm not sure what happened. It is an episode that I think you'll really love. It is my three best friends, Beth, Patrick, and Sara, interviewing me about BPD, the podcast, all sorts of things. So these people have been my friends for 15 plus years, and they have seen me through a lot of mental health crisis and been there through the good parts and the bad parts. So I hope this episode kind of provides some insight into what it can be like to be friends with someone who has borderline, and also just a little bit of insight into my own life that sometimes as the host of the podcast, I don't necessarily get to share because nobody's asking me questions. If you are a Patreon subscriber, please consider going on Patreon and looking at your feed, because there is an extended version of this episode that is about 15-20 minutes longer. So it has a little bit more like shenanigans of all of us and a couple of additional questions that my friends had asked. So take a look for that on your feed. Speaking of Patreon, I just want to thank our members of Patreon at the moment. So we have Marcella, Sandra, Juliana, Michelle, Catherine, Shannon, Kat, Dave, Heather, and Megan. Thank you all so much for your support. It means the absolute world to me. Don't forget that if you are listening to this podcast and wanting some additional content, there's also a ton of free content on Patreon as well. So you just have to sign up for an account, but it's totally free. One more thing about the episode itself in terms of the timing that it was recorded. So you might be a bit confused, which is super fair, because at times we're talking about like getting together for Friendsmas, and we're also talking about an episode that was quote unquote just released of Aaron and I talking about my suicide crisis. Those obviously came out a very long time ago by the time this episode is coming out, almost a year. So if you are new to the podcast or listening to things not in order, which is totally fine, honestly, I feel like I was so suicidal for the first like 6 episodes of this podcast that it's probably for the best that you're listening to the newer episodes first, because I'm probably a little bit more spunky. But if you are interested in hearing those conversations that I had with my husband, Aaron, I will also link those in the show notes because I think that can be helpful. So with that, I present you my ridiculous 3 best friends, Beth, Patrick, and Sara, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Superfeeler podcast. My name is Lori, and all of my friends are laughing at me right now. My name is Lori, and I'm joined today by my 3 best friends, Patrick, Beth, and Sara, and they're going to be interviewing me slightly, and then we're going to talk a little bit about friendship, and it's going to be a whole probably mess of an interview, but it'll be very fun. So bear with us with our laughing constantly, because that's what we do, and maybe I will, for context purposes, get each of them to introduce themselves, who they are, how they know me, that kind of deal. So Sara, why don't you go first?
Okay, so I have known Lori now since I was 18, and you would have been 15, I think,
15,
maybe 16.
I think, yeah.
And we met working at McDonald's when I transferred to her restaurant from a different restaurant, and we became very fast friends. And over 15 years later, here we are. And that's also where I met Beth.
I love that you say over 15 years later, and it's like, I'm pretty sure it's 17, but we're going to just not age ourselves.
Until we get past that, then we can up it to 20.
To 20. Yeah, you got to round. And Sara lives like near me, so we hang out a lot, and her kids are like very close to us, even though they don't necessarily like us very often. Yeah, so yeah, been friends a long time. And then Beth and me have an even weirder backstory, so go for it, Beth.
Okay, so I babysat you at one point. I don't remember how old you were. I want to say I was like 15, maybe 16, probably 16. So you would have been 13.
5 years older?
No, I'm 3 years older. So yeah, I babysat you like as a one-off. I thought it was very weird. You didn't have a TV in your home, but we all sat in the basement playing. What was that game? Anyways,
Dog, matter. I think we
No, the ones where you had the little creatures that like Patrick helped me out. Do you know? No. Okay, you probably played it.
Pokemon?
They were like dragons, and then you like
Neopets?
Neopets.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because we had computers, not TVs. Yeah.
Exactly. And then we met for real when you started working at McDonald's when you were 14, right? And then we've been kind of friends ever since. And I think our best years were when we went to SFU together and we studied psychology together, which was really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and then even weirder is I'm the same age as her brother.
Yes.
And her brother-in-law. So I knew.
Right, you were such good friends with Robert. And
so I knew the family kind of both sides of your family in weird ways, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then we were also friends, even though we weren't the same age. Yeah, super strange.
So how long ago was that? That's 17 16 years? You're how old are you now?
I'm 30. No, am I 30 or 31? I'm 31. Jesus. Yeah, I'm 31 and I started, I think I was 14, but I might have been 13. Because what's the legal age to work?
I thought it was 14, but
okay, maybe it's 14.
Could be wrong. Anyway.
Yeah, so that's what?
A long time. 16 years. 17 years? 17 years.
Yeah, I'm not good at math. Not a strong suit. Yeah, it's been a interesting ride. And then Beth has had I think Beth has been the most involved in my mental health journey, I would say.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that it hasn't been rocky. Let's be
100%.
Candid about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been rocky for all components of this group, but we've worked really hard at it. And that is, I think, what makes it last 17 years, right?
Yeah.
Which we might get into more later. And then, yeah, I don't know if we're going to get into this, but there was a point Beth called my mom to talk about me when we were not kids, but teenagers, which was super brave as an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
And just kind of goes to show how involved you were in all of that. So I appreciate it greatly. And then the comic relief. Patrick, how do we know each other?
Terribly to start. Let's imagine that.
We
know each other through Beth. We went to high school together, but different grades. I was a grade under Beth and I think 2 over you, or at least 1 over you. And I didn't like you in high school. And you told my crush that I had a crush on him after high school. So you were the devil as far as I was concerned. But I think through Beth's husband's parties, we got to know each other a little bit better. And then you and Sara being close friends with Beth, and then me being close friends with Beth would tag along sometime. And then we just, I don't know, naturally formed a group, I think, when Beth got married.
I was going to say, I feel that was kind of the bringing of it all together is then you're doing all the wedding stuff, and it was just us 4 in the wedding part. Well,
for 2015, that was in 2015. So it started in 2014, the planning and stuff like that. So yeah, so I'd say we're about 10 years now. Christ, 10 years.
I was thinking about this morning. Can I have a party? I feel like I can have a party.
I think we can have a party. 100%.
For what? A 10-year anniversary?
10-year wedding anniversry?
Oh.
for being friends. For me and Patrick being friends for 10 years?
Yeah.
That's my kind of party. Yeah, we were definitely mortal enemies for a while there. But
I hated you. You barely knew I existed, which is fine.
No, I think it was
when you decided to torment me. But I've never done anything to you, Lori, please.
I'm sure you have now. I can't think of an example other than just being yourself. But remember that time that you told me that I was in an insane asylum and should be a straitjacket? So if you
was this year, so I guess last year now.
If you listened to the episode with Aaron and I, the people that were at the lunch where Patrick realized that I was not in the hospital for my heart was me, Patrick, and Sara, and it was freaking hysterical.
You said that on the podcast already?
Yeah.
Cute. Hello, Patreon. Now you can see a face to the name.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you guys had questions for me. Do we want to just jump into questions for me?
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm just thinking about friendship. And like, you are hella good at making friends. Like, what is your secret?
Ooh, that's a good question. My dad taught me from like an early age that if you ask people about themselves, they like to talk about themselves, and so they will like you. It's literally that. So I just ask questions, and most people are cool with that. Some people are like, why are you interviewing me? I've like actually had people say that before, and I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm not meaning to. But yeah, I just feel like and I think I'm genuinely interested in people, which I think is the difference, right? Like there's some people that are kind of like, oh, how's work? And just trying to like pretend that they care. But I think I like genuinely care about each of the people that I'm interacting with, which makes it a lot easier to like, I don't know, make them feel like they're your friend and make them feel important, but also make me like remember stuff about people. There's people in the world who will just be like, oh yeah, ask a question, and then like they don't actually gather the information. Whereas like sometimes, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I have a terrible memory, but I will, but I will like, sometimes I'll remember like the weirdest things about people. And so when I bring that back up in conversation, they like know that I was really paying attention. And I think that makes people feel good about themselves.
I will say, being on the other side of that, I often feel like I'm just like talking about myself all the time when we're together. And like, I don't always feel that way in relationships. Like sometimes I feel like I'm the interviewer.
Yeah.
And so sometimes like listening to your podcast is really surprising because it's like, holy shoot, like I don't know these things about Lori. Like, and so I think that, yeah, you're totally right. But it like, yeah, there's some like reciprocity that I think.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think that for me, that for me is the problem, is that like.
Maybe it's not a problem. Maybe that's for other people to.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I think that's fair. I also feel like I am a bit more like caged than people think I am, because I like seem like an open book, but I'm only really an open book if you ask me the questions.
Yeah.
So like if you ask me something, I'll answer it. Like like to a fault, right? But I don't like bring stuff up about myself very often in a conversation. Like I don't know, I mean I think you've seen that.
Yep. I'm like, whoa, like what? Like, yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why do you have that cage?
I think I have a couple of friendships where I feel like, and it's not you guys for the record, but where I feel like I will like go out with someone and like they literally just talk about themselves the whole time. And like not because of my like style of conversation where I ask questions, because they literally don't seem to care about the other person at all. Like they just.
Maybe you shouldn't be friends with those people anymore.
Yeah, there are a few that I've thought that. And so I'm always really self-conscious that I'm going to be that person. Which I feel like I'm not. Yeah, does that make sense? Like I'm like so afraid of being that person that I don't want to be. And then I feel like sometimes I can kind of get into like DBT has done like weird things to me in that I am way more internalized in like every sense of the word. I kind of prefer to just like deal with my shit internally, which doesn't bode well for like great back and forth conversations.
That's surprising to me because you seem like, yeah, I don't know, maybe like the more trivial stuff you don't deal with internally, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, maybe. That's fair.
So that must be, yeah.
Can you think of an example?
I don't know, just like, oh, like, what do you think about like this outfit that I'm wearing, or like this lamp that I'm buying, or something like that? It just, you seem to like talk things out, like
Totally.
ideas or whatever. So with the more heavy stuff, that seems like, why not?
I think it's like
why
a
not
defense
tap
mechanism.
the room? Yeah.
right? I think it's a defense mechanism. And because like it's easy to talk about lamps.
For sure.
And like and like it's easy to talk about politics. Like it's easy to talk about things that like don't personally affect me every single. I mean, obviously politics does. Patrick's like, girl, no, but
I was like, that's a 180. Okay.
Don't open that door,
like,
please.
Yeah, let's talk about capitalism. It's harder for me to talk about like emotional stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Now?
Since DBT.
Because
I think I used to just be like, blah! And now I'm like regulated. So I mostly, not gonna win. So I can like, I can filter that stuff out. And I'm like, it's not worth talking about. And so it's just easier to not talk about it.
Oh, but it's so worth talking about.
Yeah, I think I use my counselor for that kind of thing, though.
Yeah, fair. I don't know. Maybe I'm the wrong person to like
test
the temperature on that.
Beth is also a counselor, for the record, which is why like she's like, yeah, of course, talk about it. I'm like, yeah, but I pay somebody to talk about that. Yeah, I also think that sometimes I want to talk stuff out, but I don't want to hear anything back.
Mm-hmm.
So like in the Super Feelers Club, we like have this thing where like we ask for consent to respond, or we ask for consent to like bring something up. So for example, if I was like, I'm going to share about this issue, all I want to do is vent about it. I don't actually want to hear any responses. Then like you provide consent for like that, or you can provide consent for like, and I want to hear responses to this. And sometimes I feel like in a friendship, it's like a little bit more difficult to be like, well, and in fairness, I don't know why it's more difficult. We could totally say this, but like, I just need to say this out loud and I don't want to hear your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But because we're more invested in people, it's harder to not share your opinion.
And I'm a self-proclaimed fixer.
So. Right.
Like,
yeah. And I think like most of us are.
Yeah.
So to just be able to say something and not have it like, and also we're very different people. Like us, like this group specifically, like the fact that the four of us are like best friends is like actually shocking. Because like we are all incredibly different in a lot of like core ways that sometimes I feel like we're naturally going to like not agree on solutions to stuff.
Yeah, but I feel like at the core, we also have a lot of very strong core similarities and values and, you know.
For sure. Which is, I think, what keeps the friendship going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes, like, my solution to a problem is going to be very different than Patrick's solution to a problem or Beth's solution to a problem and Sarah's. Like, and so in some ways, it's like, do you want feedback from somebody that, like, you know you're not going to listen to what they're, like, you know you're not going to do their solution, right? So, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, maybe in that context, but I also see it as like listening to somebody's opinion. Like, I think that being friends with you guys have made me like a more well-rounded person because I'm able to like, because I respect you so much, I'm able to listen to what you're saying and like take that on board. I think like I was thinking about this when I was listening to your latest episode, the part 1, like suicide with Aaron. And yeah, I just like, oh my God, you're just talking about psychiatric drugs, like nonstop. And like, that is so counter to like my core belief about how you deal with things. But I'm so grateful that you've like shown me that like people can be in crises and like drugs really do serve a purpose for people. And 100%. I don't think that I would have been able to see things from that side of it if I hadn't had someone I care about so much like need them.
Yeah. And right? And like somebody that you know is like trying really hard to not just rely on drugs, right? Like there's a very big difference to like drugs are going to solve all my problems to like I'm going to die if I can't be okay enough to be able to try and solve my problems.
Yeah.
That's a good example. The interesting part about that example is like we never really talk about psych drugs. In day to day, like you and I never talk about psych drugs because we know our perspectives are different. Like we have talked about it, but it's not like that conversation came up during that time.
Yeah, but that I think speaks to like the podcast vulnerability thing. It's like a don't ask, like don't tell kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, like maybe there's something to be told. Like maybe that's like, okay, maybe we should be telling more about ourselves. Like those things that we think are just going to be refuted by the other person because of their point of view. Like,
yeah,
hey, let's talk
to.
about it. Because at the end of the day, we're still going to be friends, but we're just going to disagree. Or maybe we might change our point of view.
Yeah. And not trying to change the other person's point of view, I think, is like the hard part because we're all stubborn.
It's like we're so stubborn.
Like all four of us are stubborn as hell.
I don't know what you're talking about.
To be fair, Sarah, I feel like you're the least stubborn.
For sure.
I feel like that's because I'm the most laid back.
Okay. I call absolute bullshit to all of that.
You think Sarah's more stubborn?
You don't think Sarah's the most laid back?
Sarah is as stubborn as we all are on an equal level playing
Patrick,
field.
That's
please,
you,
please, no, smoke it. The delusions.
Okay, so who do you
what
think
makes
is
you
the most
say
laid
that?
back?
Because she is one of us. We are all stubborn equally. There is
I
no
never said I
levels to the
wasn't
stubbornness.
stubborn. I said I was the least
No. They're trying to like
stubborn.
paint you out as some like I'm so chill. I'm so laid
No,
back.
definitely not. No. Just
Please.
compared to like you, Lori, and me.
Which is a high ass bar.
Like
yeah.
I'm not as stubborn. I'm not stubborn. I may push back in the moment, but I end up doing half the things that you tell me to do.
25 years later.
It doesn't matter. I eventually do them.
I guess better late than never.
Okay, I'm waiting for when you give up your like gift.
I know.
No, that's never gonna happen. No.
Okay, so case in point.
Okay, well then, I don't know.
What about living in Abbotsford?
I'm gonna be a lady. I'm not gonna bring up everything. But yeah, I think you guys
Would you ever live in Abbotsford?
Hilarious.
Patrick, did you hear my question?
Yeah, I heard your question.
I was like,
okay, that he's allowed to be stubborn about. Like, we were at HomeSense and it just smelled like garbage on fire. Like,
for context, for people
that's
who
because
don't
there
live
was
in BC,
garbage on fire.
Yeah. Sarah and I live in like a very, it's funny, it's not rural, but it's like farm country. On occasion, you will get like, especially by Sarah's house, even yesterday, Sarah, when I came over, it was fucking rank. Like,
I know.
They're fertilizing something.
Yeah.
And it was
like there's literally a farm right down the street. At least you don't have to deal with the cat factory anymore. The cat food factory.
Yeah, that was the worst dog food.
What do you mean? It smelled like the dog food factory? Oh, because she moved.
Yes.
Yeah, because you can't smell it where I am, so I can only smell it when I go to get coffee or something. Because also in Abbotsford, okay, to be fair, Patrick, the more I explain where I live, there's also a dog food factory that is near where my old house was, and every like once a week, all of their dog food fumes would be like humid in the air, like straight up humid. And it was like the most disgusting thing ever, and we just call it dog food day here. And the best part is, if you look up that dog food factory, all of their reviews are like, this place fucking stinks. Like, it's so funny. Like, nobody has anything actually productive to say. It's just like, this place makes our entire city smell disgusting. So
glad it took a podcast to be validated for my feelings. Jeez. If I'd have known this, I'd have done this podcast 10 times
Patrick,
sooner.
I always validate you in those feelings.
Thank you.
Always.
Thank you. See?
And that's the beauty of listening to your friends and seeing other perspectives.
Exactly, which we all do.
Or it's just like one stubborn friend validating another stubborn friend. So here we are.
Oh, that's true. Okay, well, that's fair. So to circle back, like, I feel like when Lori's ever really like in a tough spot, I'll ask her, like, do you want the real response? Or do you want the fluffy response? But I realize that she's the only one I do that with out of this group.
You've done that with me.
Maybe I should do that more.
Oh, has she done that with you?
Oh, yeah, 100%. You're like, do you really want me to tell you? And I was like, yes.
No. Yeah, it is a helpful thing,
That was a hesitant yes.
Because sometimes you're just like, no, I just want to like not hear. I know the answer.
Yeah.
I just don't want to listen to your answer. So, yeah. Great question, Beth. Is there any part of that didn't get answered that you want to follow up on?
No.
All right.
It went in a direction I couldn't have imagined.
Like Patrick being
Don't
stubborn.
most
No.
things with this bunch.
Yeah, they do. They truly do.
Hey, I'm not saying I'm not stubborn. I'm just very much a people pleaser. So there's a lot of things I'm not stubborn about that you seem to think I'm stubborn about. When it comes to myself,
So you're just surface stubborn?
I'm just stubborn about some things.
Hmm.
A very small
trying to think
subset of things.
What you're not stubborn about.
I
more
will say,
shady than
no, I will say there's a lot of times when I have given Patrick advice and I was like, well, that wasn't received. Like, whoosh. But then he'll be like doing things and I'm like, whoa, what's happening? Like, you listen to me? And it's so surprising that you're actually
I push back in the moment because I'm like, I question everything.
Yeah, the fresh prep thing was a good example.
Yeah, and then I do it.
I was like, whoa, what do you mean you got... Anyways.
I'm never going to give you the satisfaction in the moment of thinking that you're right. I'm never going to give you the satisfaction in the moment that you changed me.
mommy issues.
Oh, see, I was going to say typical man until it's his idea. It's a bad
Also that.
idea.
I didn't say it was my idea, and I'm not saying it's not my idea. I'm just saying you're never going to get the satisfaction out of me in the moment.
Not
It's delayed gratification. It's delayed gratification.
That is... sometimes I just need some instant gratification
I'm sure of
from
it.
you, Patrick. Okay, who has the next question?
You told me not to prepare questions, so I am unprepared.
Well,
I'm here for a pretty face only. That is my job today, is to be a pretty face.
You're doing great.
Thanks.
For the audio-only podcast,
The Patreon listeners will get to view.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine we get all of the subscribers. They're like, oh my god, I have to see this beautiful face.
If the audio listeners knew what was up, they would get a Patreon. Just saying.
Oh,
did you have a question, Sarah?
After listening to your last episode, I know that we have kind of been through this before, but what kind of advice would you give to somebody on the outside like me that knows somebody going through a suicide crisis, how to support them and be there? Because oftentimes I think people on the other side feel a little bit helpless. They don't know what to do for somebody that's going through that. So what advice would you give to those people?
That's a good question. And coming from you, that's an even better question because you're so good at this. Sarah has on at least a couple of occasions shown up at my house with McDonald's and been like, hi, I'm going to hang out now in the middle of the afternoon. Because it's I know something's not right, so I'm just going to be a physical presence here. We don't have to talk about it. Just here's a McFlurry and a cheeseburger. I know that is your favorite thing. And that is super beneficial because it's a physical safety piece because I'm obviously not going to be doing anything when you're physically sitting there, but also just at least somebody's there for you, and sometimes that is really helpful. I don't know. It's so hard because I didn't talk about it really. I think to a lot of people it was what the fuck? I didn't know that this was happening. Clearly Patrick didn't know this was happening.
We stayed at your house the weekend before you had planned, and it was so surprising to me because you're so good at masking, if I can use that word. Yeah.
And when you're that invested in doing it, it's great. I don't have anything to be stressed about anymore.
Which is very scary for somebody like me to hear that being so close to you, because it's yes, it's a personal, matter that you're dealing with, but it's hard on the outside to know, am I doing enough? Should I do more? Where's the line without trying not to cross it? And I know sometimes we can be kind of macabre about some of the situations. And so that adds another level to it, right? It's okay, well, how far can we joke with this before it crosses the line. And I feel like we have a pretty good
Patrick.
understanding
No,
of that
sometimes
with
it
each
just
other.
like it throws me like a lot. I don't know. I feel like you're speaking to this thing where it's like, oh my, like we're joking about this. Like this makes me so uncomfortable, like,
Right.
because
Totally.
I think it speaks to something like deeper. And then I forget we were playing telestrations on the weekend, and I'm like autoerotic asphyxiation. I made you draw a noose, and you're like, "Hey, this is funny," and I'm like, "Oh
I mean,
yeah."
I was
no, like, is
kind
that a
of
joke?
joking.
Is it not? I feel terrible. Oh my god! Like,
It was like kind of funny and kind of not funny at the same time.
exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, Patrick and I, like, I mean, Jesus, you should look at me and Patrick's freaking, like, memes back and forth, because it's literally just, like, suicide joke, suicide joke, suicide joke, suicide joke, suicide joke. And, like, I think about that with Patrick sometimes, too. It's like, man, it's gonna really suck if this ever is, like, not a joke anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just awkward because it's just like humor is how we process a lot of these things. So like like even like cracking jokes is like, I don't know if it's just like a defense mechanism, but like the whole time that you were having this like suicide crisis, like everyone just kept referring to it as like, oh, Lori's having some problem, and I was just like, Lori's always been having some problem. Like I just assumed it was your heart. So then this whole time when everyone was just like, oh, like you have to go visit Lori, I was just like, oh, okay, like shit, she's in the hospital, like her heart problem's not doing well, like, you know what I mean, like, because we always just joke around about everything. So like, I don't know, I took it very surface level, but that's also like my mo, to be very like surface level and very jokey about things. But like, I don't know, to me there's like, at least in our group, no limit to the jokes.
But I also don't know if I want there to be a limit to the jokes, because
Right?
that's like
I know
to
what
me,
That's how we
makes it
like
fun.
this
if
is,
you can't laugh at yourself, right? Like I don't know, it's how to cope with it, I guess.
But then it happens like in situations where like you're actually suicidal, and I'm just like, suicide, lol. I want to kill myself, lol. And you're just like, yeah, me too. And I'm like, yeah, sisters and suicide.
Yeah, truly. I don't know what the like line is there.
From the things that we've said that we're never allowed to say on camera, like, I don't know if there is a line.
Yeah, no, fair. I think I mean like, I don't know if I mean like a line like that, because I agree with you. I don't think there's a line.
I don't think there's a line anymore.
But I just mean like, you know, at what point do you be like, here's a suicide meme. Also, not funny because I'm actually trying to kill myself.
Right.
Right? Like, how do you... Like,
disclaimer, this is funny, but I'm also trying to kill myself.
yeah, like it's so hard, right? Because I don't want to like be the like, oh, this is the girl who's always trying to kill her. Like, you know, it just seems like such a like stupid thing. And at the same time, it's like, I think the frustrating part is, okay, well, a couple things. One, just by the nature of like being on social media and podcasting about stuff like this, I'm very cognizant of like, I never post stuff in the moment. I always post stuff delayed, because it doesn't help when you're in the middle of a suicide crisis and you're posting about your suicide crisis. It's not helpful. And in this context, my dad was also going to Scotland, so we had to be very careful about what was said, because I didn't want my dad's trip to be ruined.
Okay, so like it feels like in something that is so, your life is more important than all of the shit that you're talking about. Like it seems like you're protecting the people who around you that really love you for some reason. And like, I think that your dad would be like, fuck my trip. I need to be there to support my daughter. Like that just seems really weird to me.
Fair. I mean, yes, but also, what the fuck are you going to do about it? And I think this goes back to Sarah's question, is like, what are you going to do?
Well, and that's what's hard for me sometimes. It's like, I know that no matter what I do, if you've made up your mind, you've made up your mind.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, I get it, kind of what you're saying, but I agree with Beth. Like, any of us would drop anything.
Totally.
And like, if it's that one last like phone call that makes the difference, or your dad not going on the trip that makes the difference. Like that's worth it, right? Canceling the trip is worth it. Canceling whatever is worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I heard, like listening to you say like, oh, Aaron, like if you can't drive into the hospital, like I get it. You have a day at work. Like, no, of course Aaron's going to drop everything to drive you to the hospital because you are so much more important than
Yeah.
whatever he has going on at work.
But like people pleaser attitude and like
Fair.
right? And like being ingrained that like you're a bad person and you're a burden to your family. I feel like kind of you just learn to minimize everything about yourself.
Please don't minimize this shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And like truly, I mean, other than like what you guys did, which was like be there, be supportive. I mean, even like Sarah's husband like texted me and was just like, hey, I know that like you have your other friends, but like just so you know, like I love you, and if you ever need to talk about anything or need anything, like I'm here for you. Like that kind of thing means a lot, right? But what are you gonna do? Other than be physically there. And I know that like for the record, like, you know, at the time the psychiatrists were like, you can't be alone. And like I'm fully aware that like if Aaron had to go somewhere, Sara would have come over, or Patrick would have come over, or Beth would have come over. Like I know that that's like technically something that you can do, but there was nothing in the moment that was making me want to live. So it's like, what is it almost worse for everybody to be like, it's okay, for the record, it's not worse. But when you're in this headspace, is it almost worse for everybody to be like freaking out that you might kill yourself? When you're like, well, if the psychiatrist can't do anything, my counselor can't do anything, I can't do anything, and my husband can't do anything. What's
anybody going to do?
Yeah, like and so why put other people in a situation where they feel like they need to be doing something that's not possible? Is the people-pleasing mentality. I realize that that's not a good mentality, but I think that that's part of where
Am I wrong in thinking that like the counselor, the psychiatrist, Aaron, Sara, they kept you alive?
I mean, Aaron did for sure.
Yeah.
And that was just like physically being there. Right? Like I was not out of his sight for weeks, basically.
But Aaron did because
the counselor and yeah, totally. Yeah, I don't know. It's just so hard because it's like you don't want to be a burden to people in your life. And I realize that like dying is more of a burden than not. But I think because like my feelings go up and down a lot still. I just don't necessarily like talk about them. And so like if I were to talk about them all the time, it would be very annoying, I assure you. And so like instead I journal a lot, which is like a newer thing for me, but it's really helpful. And like I post my journals on Patreon, so like the people on Patreon will understand the like ups and downs of like how my brain actually works. But often I'm just kind of like I'm able to be fine. So I just be fine and then I try and deal with it on my own, which is not helpful. But like even when I was going to the emergency room, they were like, we have nothing we can do to help you. It's like, great. Solid. I know I'm loved. I know people would be sad if I died. But if nobody can help me, then what's the point?
Do you feel like you're over that hump now? Like, I know that was kind of primarily due to the med changes and all of that, but do you worry that you're going to get there again? Or do you feel more confident that you'll be able to get over that hump if you get there again?
On the weekend, Patrick saw it. We had Friendsmas on the weekend, and I got like manic as fuck one night. I like went to the bathroom and texted Aaron, and I was like, I'm like really scared. This is such a good feeling, but like I'm really scared because this was like the beginning of what happened last time, where like I was just like had 100 million times energy. The world was going 3 times faster than it should. Like, and luckily I was able to sleep, and then it like kind of calmed itself down. But like, yeah, I mean, there's especially the sleeping thing it was such a huge component of what happened that it like scares the shit out of me if my sleep schedule is fucked. Which it's not great, to be fair.
Having watched you have that episode, it was kind of weird because it was like you didn't seem like off. Like what you were doing was a little weird. I mean, like it was like 12 o'clock at night and you started like cleaning out your tea cabinet and reorganizing it. And I was just like, but it was also just one of those things where you just look, you were keeping yourself busy. Like you weren't like talking really fast, or you like all the textbook signs that I would imagine in my head if somebody were to tell me they were having a manic episode of like frantic and crazy and like running around the place and doing all these, like it wasn't that. Like you were moving a lot, you were doing a lot of things, but yet you were having like a normal conversation with me the whole time. And I was just sitting on your couch watching this whole that, and it didn't scream alarm bells for me until you were like this isn't good. And Aaron was like, you could see Aaron was just like, take your pills. I'm going to go get your pills. Where are your pills? Like, you're going to go to sleep. You're going to go to sleep now. And I'm just kind of like, da-da-da-da-da. She's just cleaning up after the party. Like, it's so easy to kind of miss these signs. And I think that the disservice is that we have such a portrayal of mental health, I think, in media and also like just growing up. That is like, manic people are crazy. Losing it. Like I would imagine like your hair's thicking up and like you fervently like, using a toothbrush to clean the cracks of the floor. Like that's what I imagine when somebody's having a manic episode. I don't imagine it's like you just getting up from the couch and starting to reorganize your tea cupboard.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like clinically speaking, it's probably not a manic episode. When I described it to my doctor, I was like, this feels like what people explain mania to be. And they kind of were like, probably not like as intense as mania, but it's, they called it hypomania, which is like, I guess like a smaller version of mania. I'm not really sure. So like clinically, and maybe I shouldn't be using that word, but like to feel like you can't stop moving. And in that, and the funny thing is like, I like being productive. So for me, like that's a fucking great feeling, right? In small doses. But luckily, like that was one of those things where it was like, now we know that that's a red flag. But because that was just like a one-off, it was fine. Because the next night I fell asleep right away. Like I was really tired. So I was like, okay, well, we're okay then. But yeah, you could see Aaron get progressively more scared during that situation because he was just like, sit down. Like, you're good. Okay, I'm going to turn the music off so that you're like more chill. Like, yeah, it's really interesting.
I mean, the steam cleaning the floors at 1 a.m. should have been my tip off. I think
okay, but like, didn't you catch that there was a point where Lori was like, I need to clean the kitchen. Like, I'm turning into Beth. Like, I'm like, if you think about the bar that is like Lori and like what she was doing.
No, because it's like, to me, it's like almost like a natural progression. It's like, oh yeah, everybody's going to bed. Now's the time to clean up.
Yeah.
Okay. She's getting old and obsessive about the cleanliness of her floors. Sure.
It's what you do after everybody leaves or goes to bed. You start cleaning.
Well, I think the point that Aaron made was like, girl, why are you clean the floors tomorrow night when there's not a bunch of kids playing Play-Doh on them in the morning? And like that was like, oh yeah, duh, because we had kids over and like, no offense to you guys as kids, but holy shit, they can wreck a house real quick.
We know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you guys keep your houses that clean.
It's not. There's Play-Doh mushed into the carpet. Like,
yeah, nobody can see beyond the screen because it's just like.
Yeah, but I'm at your house all the time, Sarah, and it's like clean.
That's because I couldn't handle it if it wasn't at least half decent.
Yeah, okay. Because like it's like a bomb goes off. I love them, but it's like a bomb goes off. So
I know.
To me, it would make a lot more sense for me to have steam cleaned all the floors the next night, and then that would have been a less like nerve-wracking situation, right? And I think like seeing some of those signs, obviously that's like a one-off, but like, if I'm frantically texting you guys at 3:00 in the morning every night, that like might be a sign that that's not a good thing. Or like,
but isn't our point that you wouldn't be frantically texting? Maybe Sarah is different, but like, I don't get like those texts at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well,
So
it's
like,
not even texts. Like, I'll wake up at like 2 o'clock in the morning because one of the kids woke up. I'll glance at my phone and Lori sent me a meme at like 1 o'clock. I'm like, you're supposed to be sleeping, Lori. What are you doing? Because I know how important that sleep schedule is.
Yeah. Which I've really screwed up recently.
We all have. It's okay.
Yeah, I know, but it's like I need to get back into it, but I don't want to. And like this is the thing is I'm so much more productive at night. And so it's like sometimes I think I'm like a cat.
Yeah, but I think that
Maybe I
also
am.
might be part of your problem. It's like you are too productive.
Yeah.
And
always.
we've talked about this before that like you don't take enough scheduled breaks. Like you don't take enough downtime.
Yeah, 100%.
Can I just say that that's something that I've noticed about you as a friend for like a long time? It's just like you're so busy. And like it seems like you do that to yourself on purpose.
Yeah, I think that I grew up. I mean, there's two things I grew up with. One, like a workaholic mother. So that did not help. And two, what was taught to me, and I don't know if it was accurate or not, was that like if you're not busy and structured, your mental health declines. Is like I was like taught that as a kid. You need to be in 6 choirs because if you're not in 6 choirs, you don't have enough routine and then your mental health declines. And so I think that maybe it's true, maybe it's not true. I think there's components of both that I think you could look at it either way. But I do think that that affects you into adulthood because you're so used to being busy that if you're not busy, you're like, well, I'm wasting my life or I'm like not being good enough or whatever. It's not great. And what's funny about going to Crest, which was like the treatment center I went to, was that, day 2 or day 1, I was like, okay, Aaron, I'm going to like work from here. And he was like, no. And then by day like 2.5, I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can go back to work. Right? Because I was like, I've never had downtime before. I need this so bad. This is the best. But I've never been able to allow myself to do that, not in a structured environment where they like are making you do that, right? Yeah.
All right, so I'll send you some calendar invites for some time off.
I do love a
And then
calendar
if it's
invite.
in the calendar, you have to do it.
It's true. That's my love language.
I think that is something like I also have a bit of a workaholic mom. I'm not going to say it. Yeah, we'll just say that. And like that, like busyness, like productivity is something that also was ingrained in me. And like, I find myself now going like the opposite direction.
I was going to say,
like,
I think,
really seeing like the value of rest and like work-life balance and finding purpose and meaning in life, like outside of career success. And I'm also
was that the case
not as
before
structured.
you had kids?
I don't think I had like the awareness of it before, because I think I've like done a lot of self-searching in the last little while,
which is great. Like that's as you should, right? As you would hope all parents do.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but I think that
yeah, you like took the same like type of experience and like flipped it to like, be the opposite.
But I'm not as type A as you. Or I pretend to be type A, but I think like below the surface I'm not. Right?
Yeah, I'm pretty fucking type A.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like frustrating because I like enjoy working and like enjoy being productive. But I have like a full-time job and like 2 consulting gigs right now and run a podcast and do peer support and have extracurricular activities that I do, right? Like it's not something that I'm proud of because I know that it's like almost a detriment to myself. And then I get frustrated when like other people aren't that busy, which is not fair. And I'm like fully aware that that's not fair. But I'm like, what do you mean you're going to like just like sit there? Like, fuck, what do you like? There's so many things you could be doing right now. And that's not and I'm fully aware that that's not like a good thing. And I'm like, I tell myself that before I like try and say something. But yeah, it's really hard for me to.
I also have that struggle in my marriage. Just saying. And that's something that I've had to like learn is like, no, I have to learn something from him. Like I have to learn to like relax. Like maybe he needs to bring it up a little bit, but I also need to
100%. And that's kind of how I feel too, right? It's like, great, like I'm super glad you're sitting there with the cats for 3 hours and hanging out, but like what the fuck? Like there's so many things you could be doing. And I don't know.
Swap it. Like, here's my list. I'm going to sit with the cat for 3 hours. Like,
yeah, but then they don't do the list properly is the problem.
No comment.
Yeah, it's interesting. I do think that the workaholicness is definitely one of the signs that can be looked out for. And then the being physically present obviously is like a big one. And just like reminding people that you love them is a big one. But I think like we do that enough. Like we do that anyway. Like Beth doesn't live near us, so the physically present thing is more difficult. But like, you know, I know that if I called Beth and was like, "Hi, I need you to come here," she would. Like I just don't, because Sara lives 15 minutes away and there's Dairy Queen in between, so it works out great.
And I wouldn't eat Dairy Queen with you, so there's that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Any other question?
I am one. It's like back to my original question.
Okay.
But I'm wondering if there is something that you feel like is a challenge or a struggle in your friendships.
I mean, I'm sure there are. I can't think of. I mean, I think I have a like hard time with like hypocrisy. I think is like hard for me, and then like the not moral, but like, I mean, I'm stubborn. So like, if I think something should be one way, it's sometimes hard to see other people do it a different way, which I think we all feel. But like, I just have to kind of eat it sometimes and just not express it because it's just like isn't helpful. And everybody's allowed to do what they want to do. Like I don't control what other people do, unfortunately. But yeah, I find like sometimes I'll get very angry with people and it gets to the point where it's like they may not know that I'm that angry with them, but like I know that I'm that angry with them. And then if I explain to Aaron, like, I hate this person, blah, 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 I think it's really hard for him because like he loves my friends too. And I can get into such a negative spiral about people that he's like, okay, like I'm trying to validate your feelings, but like you're not correct. That's just like not what is true. And like you can't say that about people, kind of thing. And so sometimes it can make him feel very upset about when I'm trying to express it to him, which is why I've found that like journaling is really helpful because I can just kind of like word vomit how I actually feel in a journal and then it doesn't have to come out.
But like, wow, what a gift that he's like able to give you that mirror, but fair enough that it's affecting him.
Yeah, it definitely affects him.
Yeah.
Because like there's certain things where I'm like mad about something for like 5 years and he's like, girl, this is not, get over it, basically. Like he doesn't say that, but like that's what he feels, you know? And fair enough. But, you know, it's like in BPD, they have this like basically you like either put somebody on this like huge pedestal or you like hate them, right? And there's kind of no in between. And so when I get into that, like, I hate this person feeling, then it's super hard to claw my way back out of it. So even if I know that like this isn't rational or like this is over exaggerated for the situation, I like can't crawl my way back out of it, or it takes a shitload of time and effort. And that can be really hard for me, and I'm sure Aaron, and also probably the person that I hate, because they're like, is there anything I can even do to like make this person like me again? Because I like did one small thing to fuck up, and then now I'm like the worst person on earth. And that can get really difficult. Yeah, good question. Did that answer surprise you at all, or did you think I was going to say something different?
No. I think that I have probably felt that in our relationship.
Yeah,
before.
fair.
Yeah. So that's not surprising to me. But like, we're just like more similar than I think that we give ourselves credit for. I think that like, yeah, I do the same friggin' thing in relationships. And like, yeah, Mike also is like the person, and like, I'm grateful for his perspective, and yeah.
Yeah, I think what has worked well, especially for me and Beth, because I feel like we've both been on the receiving end of that probably, is we've tried to fix it. Like, and in Beth's like credit, she's probably been the initiator of trying to fix it more times than not. But to like actually just be like, okay, let's try and have conversations outside of whatever this argument is about and rebuild a friendship out of it. And I think like without that effort, it wouldn't happen. And I feel like, you know, I've known people with BPD who are just like, well, fuck that person. And then they're like, I have no friends. And it's like, right. But, and like, you know, I've heard people say to me like, you're so lucky you have so many friends that have like lasted for so long. And I was like, yeah, I am lucky for sure. We also work really fucking hard at our friendships. Like, there is no part of this where any of the four of us are going to be like, and it's been easy breezy this whole time. Like, no, that's not how real relationships work. And like, there's been periods where like we've gone without having interactions because we've been mad at each other, or shit's been going wrong, or mental health has been too bad, or whatever. And at the end of the day, like, you still love the person, so you like try and make the effort. And I think the part that some people forget is that the effort has to go both ways.
Good friendships take like a lot of vulnerability, and I think that that's really hard for many people. And I think that you're really great at being vulnerable when you need to be. And
yeah, I think I could be more vulnerable on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think all of us grew up not being able to be super vulnerable. So I think it's been hard for all of us to kind of put that wall down with each other.
Yeah. But what's nice is that
point.
like when you get up that courage to be vulnerable, is it's always like super well received. Mm-hmm. I know Patrick has been like really surprising in that respect lately, as I don't know, show up crying and he's like, hey, let me say the perfect thing.
Oh,
thank God.
Yeah.
He's like, suicide meme? Is that the perfect thing?
I stand by those. I mean, you still send them.
I still send them.
You sent them to me like 2 days ago.
Oh yeah, they're so funny.
Yeah.
But if you ever killed yourself, I'd be so mad at you.
Likewise.
Yeah, right? Like, that's the irony of it. It's funny that you say that, Beth, about Patrick, because I thought you were going to say the other way around, where like Patrick's been more vulnerable recently.
Nope. But he got a therapist, so he's a closed book. What does he need me for?
I wish that was true. That's not true at all. I've never had a problem complaining, though. So you guys know how I feel about everything, about all things, every time, every minute of the day.
He has never had a problem complaining.
Never.
Mm-hmm. No.
I am a very outward expressive. Yeah, I'm outwardly expressive.
Lately, though, I have a lot of like insecurities about the complaints that are happening about us behind closed doors.
What complaints?
Let that go. I don't know what they are, but they must exist. Like,
oh, I feel like that because I have kids now. I feel like that's what causes me the stress, because like we go to Lori and Aaron's and we destroy the house, and then I'm like, goodbye. So like then I'm like, oh gosh.
What do you mean? You mean like me complaining to my therapist about you guys, or like me complaining about what?
Don't read into it too much.
I'm reading into it. It's already read into.
Well, just like complaints that we hear about other people.
Yeah, you're like, oh wait, if they're complaining about
Yeah.
that person, then they must be complaining
I
about
definitely
me.
do annoying things that he doesn't like. Look at that side glare.
Listen, this is part of human experience.
It is.
Part of being friends with people is that they're going to rub me the wrong way. And then I, an external expresser of my feelings, find avenues to express those feelings. But, like, I wouldn't be a good friend if I didn't. So,
Bitch about your friends behind their backs?
yeah, 100%.
If you internalize it, it just is like, yep, I'm going to swallow that. I'm not complain.
Like, how else do you get over it?
I mean, we all do it.
Plus, like, a lot of it comes from the fact that I don't trust my own, like, feelings about things. And, like, I've been led to believe that I am, like, dramatic and oversensitive and all these things, which, like, are true. So, like, I see
Sensitive, not oversensitive.
oversensitive.
I don't even know if you're, yeah, I wouldn't call you oversensitive. Dramatic, yes.
But that's the thing. So, like, the way I see things is how I see things. And then it makes me question, okay, obviously I must be seeing this in my way. So then I go to other people to, like, validate whether or not I'm right in this situation because, like, I don't trust myself.
Yeah.
Things happen, and then I feel a certain type about it, and then I'm like, okay, now I've looked at it from my lens, and most of the time it's wrong. So then I go to someone else to be like, what's going on here? Like, what am I missing? What am I not seeing? This is how I feel. This is what happened. This is how I understood it to happen, and then somebody else makes sense of it for me because I don't trust myself.
Mm-hmm.
You would love DBT, just saying.
Not the
That's
homework.
like exact.
Not the homework. But yeah, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, it's normal. Everybody bitches about everybody. What do you freaking do? If it makes you feel better, like, I've probably bitched the least amount about you guys.
Like us four?
Maybe it does?
Yeah.
I think that does, but I also don't know if I
don't think
believe
I've talked to my therapist about you guys in the,
Oh,
like,
well, now I've
negative
been
sense.
offended.
I know, me too.
I've mentioned you guys, but not in the negative sense, I don't think.
I don't buy it.
I don't think I legitimately don't. Fair.
I would actually pay good money for those transcripts.
Me too.
Yeah. Can we just like pool in and be like, here, man, we'll bribe you.
Pay for it.
I don't know what you're talking
We'll
about.
split the cost of the session.
Here we go.
We get a recording.
Oh my god.
You think so terribly of me.
No, I don't. I just think I would just like to
I would be
fly on the wall.
fascinated. Yeah, I would be fascinated.
There's nothing that goes on in there that you guys have not heard and or been privy to.
Yeah, but I
Not
feel like
one
it probably
thing.
comes out a different way.
No.
Mm-hmm.
You
And then
would be
it's
surprised it does
received
not.
by a different person who has no like outer context.
No. You would be shocked by how not shocking it is.
I mean, I guess there's one way to find out.
Yeah.
There's nothing I do differently. Like, it's the same conversations I've had.
Do you find it helpful that it's in third party though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, because, like, I don't trust what other people say to me if I feel like they have a vested interest in me. It's like, of course you're going to hype me up. Of course you're going to say nice things about me. Of course you're going to tell me this and the other thing, but
Oh
I'll
my
believe
gosh.
it.
That's
So
wild,
hearing it
Patrick.
from a therapist is different?
Ish.
It means more?
It doesn't mean more. It just has a different. It's somebody with a like their objective is just to get paid. So like he doesn't have to say those things. He's getting paid regardless. Let's not turn this into a therapy session for me, okay? Guys?
We're like, and surprise, this is an intervention.
Literally, that's what I was like. I was like, what if I'm walking into an intervention online?
That'd be very funny.
Yeah.
Live stream intervention. No, I'm just kidding. The objective opinion piece of, I honestly, particularly Beth, has been super helpful because you've kind of known my family dynamic better than a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, particularly at the wedding, for example, there were things that I saw that a family member was doing that I was like, that's kind of fucked up. And like, I was able to go to you guys and be like, did you see that? And have you guys like validate that, yeah, that is weird, which I find to be a really helpful reason to have like friends so ingrained in your life. I mean, like realistically to you guys, like you guys are my family, not the people that are doing these things. But to be able to have like an outside perspective, be like, yeah, that's not normal is super valuable. And I think like the longevity of our friendship has made that so much more valuable because you have the context as opposed to just like some random person being like, I don't know, like, yeah, I guess that was kind of weird.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, I find that helpful.
What do you think the best thing about being borderline is?
Ooh, good question. I think that the ability to feel strongly is a positive thing too. And like if you can harness it the right way, it's like a superpower as opposed to a like detriment. Like obviously there's still detrimental components of it, but at the end of the day, like I think that it's a positive. I also think my ability to read people is very strong. And I can read like small components of body language that I don't think other people catch.
You did it the other day.
I did it the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I clocked that one hard.
Oh, Lori texted me. She's like, I was reading your body language and I felt like you weren't feeling comfortable doing the podcast. And I was like, no, actually, I was just feeling left out because I thought Patrick was coming over to your house. And yeah, so I think like her ability to read some things made me feel better. So
yeah, because I can like say it, right? I could be like,
Yeah.
hey, you looked like there was like a shift in your body language. What is that kind of thing? As opposed to, oh yeah, I don't know, maybe she's fine with it. Maybe she doesn't. And like, I don't think you would have brought it up.
No.
If I hadn't like said it specifically. So that's really helpful. Sometimes that can go the wrong way because you can read body language so much that you start wondering if like people are feeling things about you, whereas like sometimes people's body language just changes. I also like another negative is like my body language is pretty blunt. I've had this in like performance reviews at work where they're like, yeah, like Lori's great, but she can't hide how she's feeling in meetings. So sometimes if people are saying something stupid, she'll be looking at them like they're stupid. And I'm like, yeah,
no,
that's fair.
The world needs more of that. The world needs more of that. You need to look at stupid people like they're stupid.
I'm like, I don't
feel bad about that.
Yeah, I can't hide that. Like it's just what it is.
You absolutely shouldn't.
But yeah, poker is probably not my strong suit, would be my guess. Yeah, I think like I can love harder and laugh harder and find excitement harder than most people. And to me, that's such a gift as opposed to a curse. And the shitty parts at this point in my life are way outweighed by the positives. And I'm also like really innovative, smart, driven, passionate. There's so many other things that make
humble.
Me like No, but she asked me a goddamn question. No, but truly, like I can think outside the box and like do like just be like, I'm gonna just do this now. Which I feel like sometimes that's the part that people like miss is like they have the ideas but they don't just like execute them. And I'm just kind of like, I'm just gonna do it and see what happens. And that's I find like a helpful thing.
That doesn't sound like a perfectionist at all. No, you said you were a people pleaser. Disregard.
People pleaser. Yeah.
Disregard.
People pleaser. Yeah, I think the people pleaser. I used to think I was a perfectionist, but I think I'm definitely a people pleaser. And part of the people pleaser part of it is the fact that my family treats me like a ticking time bomb. And so I have been so concerned about people having any sort of negative view of me that will reinforce the negative views that they already have of me, that I feel this need to like overcompensate. And with family, I've kind of learned, like blood family, I've learned that that's just like not worth it because like they don't care anyway. Like it's just the relationship's not going to change at this point. So like, yes, I'm still going to be really friendly to them when I'm around them, but I'm better off not having a relationship with them than having this like relationship that I don't feel like myself in. But I do feel like the stigma of BPD is still so prevalent that I have to try extra hard to like counter what people assume I'll be like, if that makes sense, which kind of leads to people pleasing.
I don't think you have to try that hard, but fair enough.
It depends on the situation. Yeah, it depends on the situation.
I think that based on how you show up in our relationship, like, you've made me a better person in other relationships, but also, like, as a counselor, it just makes me, like, just recognize that there's so much more to a person than, like, this BPD diagnosis, and, like, yeah, see the gifts in it, really.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. My relationship with you has also made me a better person, for sure. All three of you, except Patrick, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. The jury's still out.
Yeah, jury's still out.
I don't know if I make you a better person. I think I might just...
Yeah, I appreciate for sure that there's, like, that people that know me seem to have this better view of what borderline can look like. And that, like, at the end of the day, diagnosis is, like, my stance is, like, diagnosis is always just as important as it is for the individual receiving it. It shouldn't mean more than that. So if they don't want to be diagnosed, then that's fine. But we also should provide them the information that they deserve in terms of a diagnosis, because there's also a shitload of people in the world that have BPD diagnoses on their chart and nobody's ever told them. And it happens all the time. Because providers will be like, well, I don't want them to have the, like, stigma of having BPD, so I'm just going to put it on their chart, but not tell them. And to me, that's, like, way more problematic, because you're not giving them the ability to decide what they want to do with that information. And they're still being subject to stigma of the healthcare system because it's on their chart, but they have no avenue to understand where that stigma is coming from.
That seems wildly unethical.
It does, doesn't it? But it happens all the time. All around the world, all the time. And even the other day when I went to, when I was at that treatment center, the psychiatrist was like, just want to clarify, like, you do know you have a BPD diagnosis, right? And it's like, so, like, that's obviously how often this is coming up, that they actually, like, which good for him for clarifying, like, to check, because he didn't talk about diagnosis other than that. But still, like, or we just tell people the information they deserve and then they can do what they want with it. But the stigma is so huge.
I think, like, I come at this from, like, a different lens, where I think that, like, diagnoses kind of, like, can sometimes be really restrictive, and, like,
yeah, and
I can understand not wanting to say anything. It's not excusable, but I can understand, like, how thinking you have a BPD diagnosis just kind of
it's
fuels
like a
fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I think that, yes, a BPD diagnosis can be valuable to the person, like, as valuable as they want it to be, but also as people who have relationships with people who have BPD, it gives you this, like, framework of kind of understanding why somebody is acting that way. And, like, really it's just, like, out of, like, deeper wounds. Maybe that's just me coming from my particular perspective, but, like, it helps you be more empathetic.
Yeah, and what's going on. The most important thing that I found is, like, you can find a community where you don't feel alone. For both the people, the loved ones in people's lives, and the person with BPD, that community is freaking massive and, like, so important, because if you feel like you're by yourself on this mess, then there's no hope and there's no connection. And without providing them with that information, then you don't ever get that support, right? Or have the ability to get that support. Not everybody wants that support, but for those who do, it's important.
What is the most helpful thing that you've learned on your journey to, I don't know what word we're using, thriving or surviving, whichever feels more pertinent for today, with BPD?
I like that framing of that question. What feels more pertinent for today? Today, I feel in the middle of those two. I feel like I'm just, like, chilling. Chilling is probably the best word. DBT has been life-changing. Just in general. The skills in DBT are so valuable that I use them every single day. And at this point, they come relatively naturally every single day, which is the joy of it, right? Because the first little bit is really difficult, but once they're ingrained in your life, I mean, there's a few things around like what was the question? What you've learned that's the most important?
Like the best thing that you've learned on your journey. Most helpful thing you've learned on your journey.
Yeah, DBT skills in general, most specifically opposite action right now is a big one for me. Dear Man, Wise Mind. Those are probably my like main stop skill. Those are like kind of the main ones that I use like often. Then I think reframing what it means to live with mental health issues has been very helpful as well, in that it's a survival thing, not a negative thing that you have to fix, and that you just need to be able to harness how you are in ways that are more helpful for you. And I think sometimes it's a hard line between figuring out what harnessing your mental illness or your like differences to be what's beneficial for you versus what's beneficial and easy for society are two very different things. And trying to separate the two is really complicated, right? Because, you know, I think that people want to like fix mental illness because then they fit into the box that like will just bring us forward in the world in the easiest way possible for society.
Which so few people actually fit into.
Totally.
Like, just saying.
Totally. But is that the goal for me of I want to make my life easier for other people to be around, or I want to make my life easier and more meaningful for me? And trying to separate those two, I think, is like a lifelong dilemma, but definitely like a big component. And I mean, not something I learned, but well, I think I guess I learned it, that like chosen family is what's important and blood family isn't. To me is probably like one of the number one things, because trying to focus on like fixing a relationship that is not serving you and is inherently broken is not serving anyone. And the only reason we're doing that is because we're told we have to, because we're blood related to people. And to be able to let go of that feeling and that societal pressure to fix what is broken, I think is bullshit. And it's so freeing to just be like, if this person doesn't treat me well and I have tried to repair this relationship before and I have no interest in repairing it, like, my God, it's like a whole different world.
Mm-hmm. You could frame that as a DBT skill too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, the concept of dialectics in general in DBT is something that it's taken me like 10 years to figure out how to like conceptualize. And I'm still not good at explaining it, but like for Sara and Patrick's sake, like it's basically that two things can be true at once. So the concept of DBT is kind of like, you know, you should be able to validate where you're at and be motivated to change. So it's not that like what you are currently is wrong. You can still be valid in how you are in the current moment, but you should also be like focusing on trying to like change for the better in the future, kind of thing. And so the concept of dialectics being like, you know, I am a good friend and I can be a better friend, instead of like but. So changing the and the but around can be really helpful in like life in general. Although it does take away this concept of like there is one truth, which is kind of a comforting concept. So once you take away that, it sometimes kind of throws your world a bit, in my opinion. I don't think there is one truth.
I can say that I think that like all people can benefit from like DBT skills. Like I think it just makes you a human better.
100,000%.
Yeah. And you've like obviously worked really, really fucking hard.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and DBT skills. Yes, DBT skills can be helpful for everyone, 100,000%. I feel like they should be taught to like kindergartners forever. And Patrick.
Rude.
Maybe Opal needs DBT skills.
Nope.
I'm not allowed to say that.
Yeah, she does. She's still working on the words.
And like DBT is complicated in that there's a lot of different things to learn, but and sometimes I'll have people be like, oh, like I haven't figured out the skills yet. And I'm like, how long have you been doing DBT? They're like, I don't know, like 3 weeks. And I'm like, girl, it's taken me 10 years to really like ingrain these skills into my daily life. But even if you can start with practicing one, I think of it kind of as like a practice as opposed to a perfectionist thing of like, I have this skill down. Like you're never going to have it 100% of the time when you need it. But if you can get somewhere with it,
Yeah.
it's better than nothing, right? And they're just so helpful, which is part of the intervention for Patrick. I think that they would benefit you a lot.
Yeah, probably.
They'd benefit you a lot.
I don't know. One day, maybe.
Gotta start
Not
somewhere.
Not today.
It's one day, but it's not today. That could be a whole series. Teaching Patrick DBT.
Oh my god, that'd be so much fun.
Oh my gosh, you could totally do that. Like Patrick comes on the podcast to learn Dear Man.
I've told him to come to Super Feelers before and he refuses.
Sorry. I'm a really supportive friend, guys. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, it doesn't benefit me one way or another, but I think it would benefit you. Is the funny part.
Okay. What is one piece of advice that you have for your younger self?
Okay, RuPaul.
Yeah. Do you have a photo of me at 8? Go into trades. No, I'm just kidding.
Go into trades.
Buy
They
Bitcoin.
told me that, and I still
Buy
didn't.
Bitcoin.
Buy Bitcoin. 100%.
Ew, do you have a Bitcoin portfolio now?
No.
Who can afford that?
Yeah.
I don't know how to do those things, and I also feel like if I were to learn how to do those things, I would have a very bad time because I'm very like compulsive about shit, and I would be like, I would go into debt real fast. I think.
Yeah, don't get into stocks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's the same thing. Don't do that.
Stocks
Aaron-
are just like, yeah, it's just like
Aaron's
gambling
kind
for
of
rich
into
people.
stocks. It is gambling.
Is he?
Yeah, him and Steve were kind of into it. And so he's kind of into
It's
it.
such a man thing. Ugh.
It's such a man thing. They talk about it and I'm like, you guys are men.
Okay, well, Aaron's not allowed to talk about that with Mike.
Because he'll get into it too.
100%.
Because like
100%.
the only reason he was into stocks a while ago is because his other friend was, and yeah, and then I had to manage
It's
it.
like
anyways.
Did he actually get into it?
with the amount of money that we could afford to get into it, so it was fine. But
He lost it all.
no, we made a lot of money. We
Oh,
made a chunk of money.
The fuck's the problem?
There is no problem, but his friend lost a lot of money. So
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's gambling. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
It totally is.
Like,
yeah.
The only time I've actually cared is like 4 years ago, I found out about Ozempic and I was like, Aaron, here's $250. Put stock on this. And I'm sure it's up. I don't actually know, but I think it's
$250.
She's secretly a millionaire and we didn't even know it.
Yeah.
No, it's not as good as you'd think though. I
Do I
was
get
like
onto the yacht if you're a millionaire?
I was like, this is gonna do great.
Okay, well, this is advice that you share with everyone, so we can all be millionaires.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know if I want to buy stocks in pharmaceuticals. Never mind.
Yeah, I didn't want to either, and then I was like, but maybe I'll be rich, and then
From
and then
$250.
I don't know how stocks work.
Yeah.
That's
At
funny.
one point, though, it was the only thing in his like portfolio that went up.
Yeah, fair.
So I was like, okay, well, now you have to listen to me. But yeah, I'm not going to put like 10 grand into something that's horrifying.
Mm-hmm. But then you stand to make a lot of money.
I know, but you also stand to lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
Gambling.
yeah, I'm like, I could also put $10,000 on red at roulette and stand to win a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to do that because that's horrifying. I want to play a minimum $5 bet. Gotta love roulette. Anyways, advice to yourself, I don't know, because I feel like things have kind of worked out in the end. So like sometimes I'm like, do I want to change what happened?
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have some advice for myself, but I mean, the things that I would want to have changed would be like my relationships with my mom and my sister, and I don't really know how I would have been able to change that because it wasn't a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, yeah, don't hit your mom and your sister. Okay. Like, but I wasn't hitting them because I wanted to hit them. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how I would have been able to provide any sort of useful advice.
It's for them to forgive at this point, really.
100%. Yeah. And that's not going to happen. So here we are. Yeah. So Bitcoin, I think, is my answer.
Don't do it. I mean, maybe do it. I don't know. Who do I know?
I mean, if I did it 20 years ago, we would all be living in a commune with a yacht and a private chef.
Yeah, if we did Apple in stock, whatever, 20 years ago, we'd probably be the same shit.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, any last thoughts on this conversation? This was very interesting and fun for me, so I appreciate you guys coming on and doing this. One day, Beth, we're gonna have to talk through the whole my mom situation.
Yeah, happy to do it. This was fun.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I feel like you two need to have a podcast episode together.
Yeah,
Patrick's like, I'm out. We don't need a pretty face now that Beth has cute bangs.
I'm useless.
They're not useless.
Robbed of my job.
How did you feel it went, Patrick?
Good.
Wow, you and Aaron are very similar to podcast.
Yeah, I'm not a good podcast guest, am I?
Which is funny because you're so talkative usually.
Okay, Sarah's question.
Oh,
Patrick.
no, Sarah's question.
Oh, okay, ready? What do you think you would be doing now if you hadn't gone down this career path?
It's so funny because I feel like this career path kind of just like randomly happened. I'd probably still be working retail, to be honest. Like I'd probably be like a higher up in a retail company.
Scary.
Like operations or something.
Really?
Because
that's very surprising to me.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was doing psych, which maybe I would work at like a jail or something, but that's not that far off of what I do now. Because I was doing psych and crim, and you can't really get a job with just a psych degree, like specifically in psych. So as Beth knows full well, degrees are always helpful. So nobody getting a psych degree should despair. They're always useful. It's just,
yeah, get a communications degree. Does you wonders in life.
It's not like you can get like a specific job out of that. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't really have any like plans other than just I wanted to be a psychologist. But that was, I mean, I would argue that that's similar to the career path I'm in now. I think I always knew I wanted to like fix my brain or like other people's brains. And then the reason I didn't become like a counselor or a psychologist is because I was like, wow, this system is so broken that I think I need to focus on fixing like the system issue instead of the individual issue. And obviously both are super important, don't get me wrong. But like, I just always looked at it from a more systems lens.
You can help more people this way.
Yeah, I think you hope, right? Mm-hmm. Like the thing is like, you know, in like as a counselor, you're going to help a lot of individuals a lot. Does that make sense? As opposed to as a systems level person, you have the ability to help like hundreds of thousands of people, but maybe in a less significant way. But I feel like the work that I do, like podcasting and advocacy wise, it's more of that individual level. So like I'm not a counselor, but like I know for a fact that like what I do changes individuals' lives as well. So I kind of get the best of both worlds without having to compromise one or the other. And also I didn't have the grades to get into psychology, like graduate school. So I'm kind of okay with the way that I went. And the master's I did was so interesting that I don't regret any part of it. So, well, with that, we're at 2 hours. So I feel like we should all go get a snack and give each other a little break. But I so appreciate you guys doing this. This was so fun. And don't forget to not cancel your browser until it says 100% uploaded. Sarah, I have literally no idea what yours is going to say. Yeah, I just love you guys to the moon and back. You're my favorite people in the universe. And yeah, just thanks for being my friend and going through these ups and downs and being so supportive.
Love you too.
Love you.
Love you. Thank you so much for listening to the Super Feeler podcast. This episode was recorded on the traditional and unceded territory of the Matsqui and Sumas First Nations. If you'd like to learn more about the Super Feeler podcast, share your story, or participate in the Super Feelers Club, which is our peer support group, it's totally free, virtual, and open to anyone who experiences intense emotions or has borderline personality disorder, please check out the link in our show notes or go to laurieedmondson.com. If you would like to support the show, we would very much appreciate it. There's an option to do monthly small donations at whatever denomination you'd like, and you get bonus content, extra resources, and extra connection to me throughout. That can be found on patreon.com/superfeeler, or again in the notes below. Thanks again, and have a great day.